Well, you and I 2 nights ago played guitars for an hour.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Yep.
How far are we from being Keith Urban?
Not far.
Not far.
at all. I mean, it depends how many drinks you had.
Anything's possible. And rolling.
We're rolling. You switched places with Avi Cohen.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you're here and he's there.
Ah, yeah. We can't say where he is, can we?
Well, you can. He's in Georgia.
Yeah, he's in Georgia.
He doesn't
Talked to
care.
him the other night.
And alive and well.
Yeah, alive and well, kicking. Typical Avi.
Yeah.
But that's why I grew this
In honor.
in honor, because Avi grew him one. But
I didn't see. Avi's got a beard now?
yes, sir.
Oh, God.
But it's not dark and lustery like mine.
Luscious.
Luscious. Avi's looks like a 14-year-old Riesen Schnauzer. Some gray going through here, but you got to tell him about Just for Men.
Yeah.
Avi, it works. Like,
Yeah.
put it on.
No, I was using Madison Reed on my, not on my beard, but on my hair to just try to keep some of the gray out.
Yeah, I'm much too vain to have any gray.
No, I mean, I am too.
that's-
No. Except that, you see some of these guys, they get the black hair. It's like too black.
Yeah.
It's like too black. You got to let a little bit come through.
What are you saying?
Not you. No, you're good.
Sure?
Yeah, you're good. No, but you go to the next level. It's too much.
Oh, okay. But
It's
I'm
like-
not there yet.
No. You're on the precipice.
Okay. But Avi, hair color, it works.
Well, let's send him. Let's pitch in and send him a little bottle.
Okay, we can go to a CVS.
Yeah, we'll
grab
do
him
it.
some. Yeah.
I hope he gets this. I hope he sees this after he gets the bottle.
He says he's making a really nice sport field right now.
He said,
He said it's going to be top end.
I saw the videos.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen the videos?
Nope.
I thought he sent everything to you first.
I don't rate that high with Avi Cohen. I
Apparently
guess.
you don't.
Well,
I do.
that's like Jimmy. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Here
I've been dissed twice this week now by you and Jimmy.
Not by me. It's Avi.
Avi.
Avi, not me.
Blame
It wasn't
Avi.
me. It wasn't me. Yeah, you spent the night on the other night? I forget, 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And
At your house.
My casa, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's rare that Janet invites somebody to spend the night here.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Right. So
I'm honored.
you should be. And then Janet said, "Would you like a dog to sleep with you?" She offered up one of our children for you.
I said, of course.
Yeah, you did. And
Yeah.
did you choose Jimmy or did she?
I wanted Jimmy.
You wanted
Jimmy was my favorite
Uh-huh.
until he forsaken me.
Forsook.
Yeah, forsook. But yeah, Jimmy, I lifted him up in bed and got all comfy. That lasted all about 2 minutes, and then he forsook me.
Yeah.
So I picked him up and lifted him off the bed, so I was dogless.
Yeah, dogless. Well, we were dog full upstairs.
Yeah, you know it's against the rules to put dogs. You don't put dogs in bed with you.
Never.
You don't feed them from the table.
Never.
I do all
I do
those
every
things.
one of those.
Every one of them.
I had a video of Bosman eating whipped cream off of my pancakes, all walking on the table.
I'm glad you said pancakes.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And I mean, I love whipped cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's my limiting my carbs by eating pancakes and whipped cream. But you're here doing some stuff, visiting me. I'm glad you're here. I've caught a lot of gripe on some of the other podcasts I did. And I want to talk about some stuff with you, right? Because I think you're the world's expert on personal protection dogs, on police dogs, whatever we want to call them, bite dogs. And there's some things going on in the world, and in my opinion, I think the positive only people, the nuts are running the nut house, right? All of Europe, banning e-collars, banning prong collars, banning this, banning crates. You can't even have a dog in a crate anymore now in Switzerland, I think, or Sweden. And I think, in a lot of ways, I think Europe did themselves in. I think they lay down, we'll give up the prong collar, we'll give up this. Now there's somebody, I'm not going to mention his name, I never give credit to people who I don't agree with, who is saying that they should get rid of that owning a protection dog, an IGP, IPO, and we're going to get into the Schutzhund words, that it's like having a gun, like having a loaded gun. It's reckless, it's stupid, and all that stuff, right? I want to talk to you, and I want to start out with the one thing. You have procured dogs in everything from the very, very top level personal protection dogs to police dogs to military dogs. We're going to leave it at that. I don't want to go any deeper than that, right? I want you to tell me a couple things. And the first one is the danger of these dogs in public. I buy a dog from you, okay? I buy one of your top protection dogs. Now I'm saying personal protection dogs. Probably has an IPO background, French ring background, something, right? How dangerous is that dog? I take him to the coffee shop.
It's not. So with a responsible person, responsible owner, it's not. How dangerous is a well-raised child that you take to karate school, that goes to karate school, boxing club? If he's well-raised and you're responsible, it's not dangerous. It's a life enhancer.
I agree with you on that. But let's talk about that a little bit. So people will say, well, if it's a bad dog, then you're teaching it how to bite, when you get it into these protection dog sports and all that stuff. Let's talk about that. I mean, let's go into that a little bit, because what are we talking about with these dogs?
I think you're talking about trainer ethics. I have my own club, and if the dog doesn't pass a temperament test, if he's a, lack of a better term, a bad dog, I don't train him.
Okay.
Just a good citizen. The first rule of a good protection dog is they have to be a good citizen.
Yeah.
Just like a good police officer, anybody that's in the protection business in the human world, they've got to be a good person.
So when you talk about a temperament test, and I want to get into the temperament test, I know that I put my dogs, Goofy and Maya, both through what's called a BH, right? And that's a test that the IPO or IGP or Schutzhund does to test the overall temperament of the dog. The dog can't pass the BH, can't go to the IPO 1, 2, or 3, right? How important are those temperament tests, and how thorough are they, do you think?
I think they're spot on. I think Schutzhund, what can we call it today?
I think we should
IP.
stay with Schutzhund.
Let's stay with Schutzhund. I think they've had it right for as long as they've been around. And we got to protect it.
I know you're upset about this, just like I am, because they went from Schutzhund to IPO to IGP. Internationale Prüfungsordnung, which means an international test certificate. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. Then it's IGP, Internationale Gebrauchshund-Prüfung, which doesn't tell. It's a Gebrauchshund means like a utility dog, a working dog, right? What's wrong with Schutzhund?
Well, let me start off. I'm not an expert in Schutzhund, like a Mike Deal or somebody that's well-versed to talk about it. I belong to a Schutzhund club, but I like the word Schutzhund. Like, why couldn't we just leave it as Schutzhund? Because it seems like we're in an acronym society now. Everything's an acronym, A, B, C, D, IGP.
All the way down the line?
I don't know. We keep trying to reinvent the wheel, and I wish they would just call it Schutzhund.
Well, don't you think that goes down the line of appeasing people? Like,
I think it's a capitulation.
Right.
Again, I wasn't on the inner circle when these changes were made, because I'm not in the inner circle of the Schutzhund world. But however, you were. To me, it seems like they were ceding ground to appease. When Schutzhund protection dog, that's what it's all about.
It was Schutzhund for 70, 80 years or whatever it was, you know, and then they started changing it. Now the stick hits are going out. Right. So you use a stick as well, right? So can we talk about that a little bit? Because in IGP or in Schutzhund, we're going to call it Schutzhund in this thing, there was always a stick hit, right? And again, I'm a very, very, very novice when it comes to the sport. You're an expert with the military dogs. I've done personal protection dogs. We've worked bite dogs. I want to touch on which is part of the courage test of the dog, right? Can you talk about the stick hits? Why are they important to you that a dog can take a stick hit?
Well, it's a test of character. It's not to inflict pain. It's to test character, and the dog is motivated by the contact. It's a contact sport. It's really a paintbrushing more than a hit. When you see somebody coaching their son in football, they grab the pads and get out there, son. Get out there. You know, is that child abuse? No. Right. And it's motivation.
Well, it's important we have these physical contacts with each other and with our dogs. I mean, you know, when I work my dog, I'll grab him by the scruff of the neck and grab him or pat him really hard or something like that. Why is it any different?
It's not different. And when you're motivating, we've talked before, I correlate a lot with dogs as to raising children. You know, when I'm motivating my son to go in the wrestling ring or on the football field, I'm not going, oh, honey, go out there and have fun. No, it's
Right. Yeah.
come on, son.
Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
do it. And the dog thrives on that kind of contact. And it's kabuki theater out on the sport field. You know, it's not real.
Yeah.
And so people that don't know much about it make these assumptions, and they're stepping out of their lane into our lane, and we need to be uber protective of that.
The kabuki theater is such a good analogy. I like that a lot, especially with my background in the martial arts. The image or this kabuki theater of it is so wrong. I want to touch on something. You and I have talked about this, and I always like what you have to say in, you know, building the boy into the man before he ever gets into the fight. You have a really big piece about that, and we've talked about that when we're raising puppies. With IPO, or with let's.
You said you'd say Schutzhund.
Okay. It's a shot every time I say it wrong. We need a shot up here. With Schutzhund, and these dogs then become, sometimes they become sport dogs. Sometimes they go into becoming very good national champions, world champions. Sometimes they just get to retire afterwards. They do one or two, like Goofy got a one. That was it. We moved them on. How important is that part that civilians play, that the average civilian in Europe training their dogs? Because you get a lot of dogs from Europe. How important is it that these dogs get to go to a club, get to do Schutzhund, get this introduction before you buy them for personal protection, military, or police work?
It's extremely important, and God bless the sport people. You know, I've never titled a dog. So that's why earlier when I said I'm not comfortable arguing the inner politics of Schutzhund, but I've benefited greatly from the sport, and some of my best teachers in the dog world come from the sport. The sport foundation is irreplaceable. It's like, like the education of your child. It goes to the right school, does the right amount of studying and practice, turns into a good person.
So do you think also in that level, I mean, from what I've seen in sports, and especially having worked so much in shelters, I've never seen a Schutzhund dog end up in a shelter.
No.
I've never seen any protection dog with any kind of end up in a shelter.
No.
Have you?
Never.
Okay.
No.
Do any of your dogs ever end up in a dishomed?
At my club, no. We've never, again, it's all about the character of who you're teaching. And never, I think a protection trained dog is much safer than a dog that's never had any training, because it draws a strict correlation to where the protection is permissible and where it's not.
So would you agree that any dog knows how to bite? They got teeth, right? They know how to bite. So
I think they all would put in a bad position. Yeah, any situation, any dog would bite.
So you think we can limit the danger of the potential danger of a dog, let's say a Shepherd, a Malinois, a Rottie?
Can I quote David Lee Roth?
Sure.
In the song,
need a microphone.
The Van Halen song, "Hot for Teacher."
Sure.
I got my pencil sharpened. Give me something to write on.
Okay.
So a lot of the dangerous dogs have their pencil sharpened, but they don't know what to write on. A protection dog, properly trained, his pencil sharpened, but he knows where to put the pen to paper and write.
And when.
Yeah. So God bless David Lee Roth.
God bless him. So, would you say that a dog that has let's call it bite training, for lack of a better word, do you think that dog is less likely to bite when pressured or more likely to bite?
Less.
Tell me why.
Yeah. Because it's not, they understand they take pressure as a good thing, as a positive, okay? Because what an outsider would look at as pressure, a dog that's properly raised in the sport, it's a part of his life, and to him it's not pressure. It's fun. He enjoys it.
So when you get to the level of dogs that you're dealing with, the top level dogs, when they're biting, how much of it is that defensive fight aggression? How much of it is a game?
At most dogs I've worked with, it's not, they don't bite out of anger. They're having a good time. They think they can't lose, and they're enjoying themselves. If once in a while they kick into, there's a lot of terms out there. People talk about fight drive, defense drive, the aggregate, whatever. But it's pretty rare that a dog will kick into the other drive other than the fun drive.
Mm-hmm. So you're
in
saying,
a real situation. I've seen a lot of violent encounters with dogs, and
they're having fun.
I can't remember many times where the dog wasn't having fun.
So it's not about, they're not being pressured into such a position where they're fighting for their life.
No, and that can happen, and I've seen it happen,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a rare occurrence. But I always correlate it with the way these dogs are. It's like George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. You know, they'll fight for 10 rounds, but then they can sit at the press conference beside each other,
Mm-hmm.
talk, be funny, and that's the same way with a well-trained dog.
Mm-hmm. So when you're working one of these, let's take example. I go with you on, or any police officer on a ride along. The dog gets out. We send the dog on the bad guy. Dog gets the bad guy, bites the bad guy. The police come over. They cuff the bad guy. Can I then take that dog and pet him and take him to Tasty Freeze for an ice cream?
No.
Why?
Because there's a difference between a street encounter, a real encounter,
Mm-hmm.
than there is a bite on the sport field.
Okay.
That's just like if you're sparring at your karate club
Mm-hmm.
and the umpire says stop, you're going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a bar fight,
Right.
I'm your buddy, but if I come up to you and grab you and say, Robert, stop fighting, you may punch me
Mm-hmm.
because you're in a real fight, and you're not going to calm down and want to hugly cuddly right after that fight.
No, not right after, but like an hour, 2 hours.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Once they flatten out,
Right.
and come back to earth.
Right. Because we talked about that before. You know, you said these dogs they can be in a home. They're chill. They're
Mm-hmm.
easy. You don't. There's this accusation of the danger of these dogs. There was a study done in Bavaria, and I know the guy who did it. The guy posted it, and they talked about how that of all the bites of dogs, none of the dogs that were biting people were protection trained. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty miraculous, or it seemed pretty normal. You don't seem too impressed by that.
I'm impressed.
You are?
Yeah.
I mean, it would seem
No.
normal, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Right? I mean, they're just normal dogs. They're out there doing it. Just like UFC fighters don't get in bar fights
No.
as much as a guy who's just a blowhard, right?
I was a policeman for 21 years. One of the things we would have to do is whenever there was a dog bite, a citizen's dog bites somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody goes to the hospital, the policeman has to come to the hospital and take the report.
Mm-hmm.
Never, in hundreds of these reports, never was it a trained protection dog.
Yeah.
It was an untrained dog.
I mean, I just have such an issue because I think this, again, I mean, I talk about the positive only movement. I think it's such a destructive movement because it started out, and, you know, for the most part, you know, Europe really kind of went along with this. You know, Europe went along with, oh yeah, we'll get rid of the prong collar, we'll get rid of the e-collar, we'll get rid of the, you know, now they're trying to get rid of Schutzhund and they're trying to get rid of Mondio ring. They don't want anything like that. You know, my friend Alan said, he goes, is this a hill you want to die on? And I said, I do.
Yeah.
I want to die on this hill because when you start limiting a trainers, and there's a lot of trainers in Europe who are some of the best trainers in the world, and they're having to say, I'm not saying they do or don't. I don't know. I really don't know because I haven't been to Germany and haven't trained with them. And if I did, I still wouldn't go one way or the other. I don't sell people out. If people abuse dogs, I'm the first one. I'll call them out and I'll call them out on both sides. Mm-hmm. But if you're using a tool and you're correcting a dog, just like when I taught karate, if I give somebody a correction and, you know, I had to give them a smack across the head to do it, it was definitely not hurtful. It was definitely not painful. They benefited from it, you know. But I mean, everybody's capitulating to all these little PC movements, which are really the end of everything.
Yeah, you know, why don't we just stop children's soccer? Because the children are running, and that's painful when you run for an hour of practice. That's painful. Yeah. You may get kicked.
Shin splints,
kicked. Let's stop that. Mm-hmm. So it's just ridiculous. I don't know at what level or where we make our stand, but I
don't know.
You know,
where do we make the stand? I mean, how do you handle it? How do you see it from your angle of training dogs? Again, you're training them at a different level. You probably wouldn't even fall under that category. Mm-hmm. But what would you say to people who are, you know, I mean, I always say to people, just because you don't need it doesn't mean it shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Well, I train my knuckle draggers. We train on a public field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own it. So once in a while, citizens will come up and they'll be curious, and I always take the time to explain it to them. And I've never had anybody balk at it after I lay it out, and then they enjoy watching it.
Right. Well, you're a nice guy. You're an easy, you're Mr. Personality.
I don't know. Might want to ask VV Leon.
It's code word.
Yeah,
we know who that is.
Yeah.
What do you see? Because you see this so much in differences of dogs. I know you've taken them from everywhere, different angles. What is the difference? If somebody was to say to you, what is the difference between a protection dog, let's say a sport dog, a personal protection dog, and a top-level military or police SWAT dog?
I would say that the top-level police dog, a top-level protection dog, has aggregate aggression.
But when you're saying protection dog, are you saying like military, police, and anything?
I'm talking about home protection dog, like Goofy, my creep, God rest him.
Yeah.
Or a police dog. They have aggregate aggression. They've got some sport aggression, and they've got some real aggression.
So let's talk about that. Like what? Because I think it's an important component that, I always say we need this in dogs and we need it in men. It's like what you said in the car, the bad guy kills the bad guy so the good guy can be free. And we need dogs because we're training dogs to be protectors.
Right.
Yeah. Talk about that difference between the dog that's on the field that can win the world championship that could never be a police dog.
Yeah. Confrontation. With no equipment, standing, holding his mud, and wanting to confront a two-legged adversary.
I want to talk about that. That's I've worked quite a few protection dogs. No real dogs like what you're talking about, but protection dogs. A lot of them, I think, an issue is, will that dog that came off the Schutzhund field bite a guy?
I think most of them would. So like people that we respect, we were talking about a lot of people in the Schutzhund world that we hold in high regard. They may not have dogs that would be police dogs at that moment, right? But these guys, there's plenty of trainers out there that would be fully capable of making those dogs or a protection dog or a police dog.
If the conversion process.
If they had the time or if they wanted to. But for a lot of them, their time is the limiting factor, and it's not important. They're doing their sport, doing what they do, and I respect it.
I respect it immensely.
So yeah, I think most of the good trainers out there could certainly take any high level sport dog, and
but let's talk about that. So the high level sport dog, we've got a dog that went to regionals. Let's say hypothetically, it's a good dog, a really good dog, and that dog for the most part, if it's a Schutzhund dog, how equipment oriented is that dog?
Quite a bit, all about it.
Okay, because it's a trick question because I'm going somewhere with it, right? So that dog, I take that dog. The dog's gone to regionals. It's a really good dog. It's a strong dog. It's a good tracker. It's a good obedience dog. It's a solid dog in protection. I've got the dog is on the sleeve, right? Dog. That's all the dog knows. If I went out on the field, what's the chance that dog's going to bite me?
Low.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a trained behavior. It's not a measurement of the dog's heart. It's just that's the sport. What's the chance of somebody that's gone to Taekwondo club their whole life, staying in that, hitting the hand pads, kicking your ass in a bar fight? It's not going to happen.
Right.
Maybe. Well, you got that one guy.
Yeah. There's always that one guy.
Yeah.
Well, I know a dog at a club I was at who bit the judge on tracking, but this dog was a nerve bag and it was really poorly trained. But the thing I think is, if you look at these protection dogs, these sport dogs, the sport dogs, I think they're so equipment oriented that if you were going to stand in front of them, they might bark at you. They might do a bark and hold. But I think, or let me ask you, I'm not going to say what I think. How much counter conditioning are you doing now? I've seen what you do. I've seen your secret sauce. How much counter conditioning do you have to do to get that dog to go, don't bite on that sleeve. Don't bite on that straw arm. Bite them in the chest. Bite them in the leg. Bite them wherever. How much work is that?
First of all, I'm not in dog training for work. It's fun. So ask me how much fun it is. No, but it takes a little bit of tweaking and reading dogs, knowing how to read a dog, and just changing. Hi, Goofy. changing their sport, like put another event in the sport. Man is primary, and it starts with confrontation, letting them know that there doesn't have to be equipment around to be excited, that you can look a man in the eye, maybe bark him away, and starts out I train in fun, you know, and then when I come to the threatening part, to me, using threat, the dog will eat it like candy.
Yeah.
He'll bring it.
But it's a conditioned behavior.
It's a conditioned, trained behavior,
right?
Just like the work that they do on the sport field. So,
Right.
But again, I get 99% of the dogs I use come from these sport trainers.
Yeah.
And
well, I think
you know
necessary.
what's funny is when I was a policeman, you would have a lot of cops, friends of mine, you know, but they would poo-poo the sport world, the sport people. Well, I was a member of Mike Deal's Schutzhund Club, and I would go, and there's a lot to learn, a lot to learn from the sport people. High respect, you know, and that cross-pollination made me a better dog trainer.
Mike Deal's an amazing trainer.
Yep.
He's got to get on the show.
And Mike has that. Everything that I'm telling you I do, Mike Deal does.
Yep.
You know, like he's a two-sided dog trainer sport, and
Police.
the real world, I guess. Yeah.
But that, I think, one thing I keep going back because this one podcast I heard got under my skin, and the person said this guy he has no knowledge on, not even to your level, but not even to the level of having worked a protection dog. His comment was, "Oh, I went to many different clubs and I stood in the field with these protection dogs and I acted suspicious like the decoy would or the helper would, and I got bit every time." I mean, first of all, I don't think he knows what he's doing. First of all, I think if you put pressure onto a dog, you're fair game to get bit, right? Yeah. If it comes down to defending myself, and I think that's a line that we really need to draw, is that if someone is attacking me or my family, I should be able to do that. And if somebody's attacking my dog, putting pressure on my dog, and especially if it's a big guy our size and our energy, I want my dog to bite you. But this person was saying that this dog, a Schutzhund dog, is just likely to go off and start biting people if they're in front of the dog. I just think it's total BS.
It's full of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the big.
Who was
piece.
This guy?
Can't mention his name.
Oh, we don't mention his name. Okay.
we never talk about Fight Club.
Nope.
You know, I just don't like to bring up some. It's like, you know, I think certain news channels they kind of glorify the killer and they show the picture of the killer and the victim never. You know, my thing is, I want to talk about what I believe, and I want to talk about people that we respect. You know, the Mike Deals, the Peter Sharks, the Frank Phillips, the Shannon Kriegers, and all these amazing people. People I disagree with, I don't want to give them any energy. You know, I just want to out their philosophies, because the people come and go, but this philosophy of I don't want to say emasculating, but de-escalating things, of making everything passive, everything is okay, everything is safe. Life's not safe.
No, it's not, and it's only going to get a little crazier as we're seeing. Look at what's happened the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, life's gotten crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's gotten really, really crazy. So you've got an exciting project you're working on that I kind of want to talk about. You meet some amazing people, right, through the people you work with and the people you train, the people you procure dogs for and stuff. But you were telling me about this great project on our way over to In-N-Out Burger, and I want you to tell me about it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. So about a year ago, I met a guy named Casey Crawford. And Casey Crawford, former NFL player, he played for the tight end for the Carolina Panthers and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Love the Bucs. Got
a Super Bowl ring with the Buccaneers. And then when he got out of the NFL, he founded Movement Mortgage, which is one of the biggest mortgage companies in the country, and especially, I think, like the third largest loan company for veterans.
Wow,
VA
love
loans.
That.
Yeah.
All right.
And Casey's a dog enthusiast. He has a IGP3, IPO3, EIO, Schutzhund 3.
That's
German
3 shots
Shepherd
right there.
at his house, and he also trains a gun dog.
Okay.
And so how we got to know each other was through dogs. And Casey's company, Movement Mortgage, they're very benevolent, and one of the charities they support is the honor group. And the honor group is ran by a guy named Mark Soto. He lives in California, and they donate dogs to veterans.
Okay.
And Casey wanted to know if I could help him find a veteran so they could donate the cash to the honor group. And we found a veteran named Jason, a combat veteran, that's going to receive this dog. And I had the honor of helping select the dog. Wow. The dog's in Germany.
Okay.
And it's a German Shepherd, IGP, IPO, EIEIO trained.
That's 6 shots.
And
you're not even driving home.
So this will be presented, this dog will be presented to the veteran at the Movement Mortgage headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina in February.
Wow. What an amazing. Now tell me what the dog, is it a PTSD dog? What is the dog? What's the main purpose of the dog?
It's going to be just a support dog for the veteran. And it's going to be a family dog. And also it's going to have protection instincts. And this guy that's going to get it is somebody I know pretty well, and he's going to want to do the protection work with it because it's fun. And so he'll keep that dog involved in the protection world.
I love it. I love it.
But it's a wonderful charity, wonderful people.
So the charity is called?
The Honor Group.
The Honor Group, and Movement Mortgage is sponsoring.
Mortgage. They are the benefactor.
So big shout out to Movement Mortgage.
Yeah.
If you want to check out. They're not even sponsoring the show, but a big shout out to them.
Yeah. And it's a big deal. I think it's cool that a protection trained dog is going to be donated to a veteran.
Yeah. Well, anything we can do for veterans, I think, is amazing.
Yeah.
They definitely don't get enough. They don't get enough, love.
They're due. Yep.
Yeah, they don't get their due. What else is going on? What else you got going on?
I've got a seminar that you're supposed to be part of, but I can't get you to commit. You're like.
I said I'll definitely come by for a day or two.
Okay.
I promise I'll be there for a day or two. My main thing is what's going on with my dogs right now.
Right.
So
yeah. Your cup is full.
My cup is kind of full, but I love you like a brother. You are my brother. I will come by, and at least to come by to shake hands, to say hi to everybody, because it's a huge thing, and I want to support anything you do.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Barring something major coming up, I'll be there. Janet said, you have to go. You got to go.
Bring Janet.
I can't. She's got to watch the dogs. I would love to bring Janet.
Okay. Sitting right over there.
I know. She's right there. Yeah. And if I bring her, everybody's going to be hitting on my wife.
Yeah. She's a hottie.
Yeah. See, she does. She never hears that. She says, never mind. She gets it. She gets it from me all the time. So let's talk a little bit more about you. I think, you're doing a lot of seminars on talking about real protection dogs, right? So there's a big difference between going to a Mike Deal seminar when he's talking about Schutzhund and going to a seminar you're doing, because you're not teaching anything about the sport.
No, I stay in my lane.
That's what I really admire about you. Yeah. But you're teaching stuff, and I think your knowledge is immensely valuable for police officers, military canine handlers, and people who are doing real protection dogs, like a real home invasion or robbery, and that stuff's happening, right? What are your favorite dogs for that stuff?
I really love the German Shepherd for the home protection. Yeah, German Shepherd. Now the dog my home protection dog was a Riesen Schnauzer, and he passed away last week. We had to put him to sleep, and he was awesome. But as a rule, I like the German Shepherd. Yeah. What do you like about him? I mean, I love German. I'm a Malinois guy, but I do love German Shepherd. A German Shepherd owns you. They're not a Walmart door greeter. I just love the heart. They've got a big heart and a big brain. I think they're wise. Yeah. When people get a protection dog? I mean, I hear so many questions people have, like, what do I do? What do I need to know? What about this? What about that? I mean, I just think a solid German Shepherd, a solid home protection dog is part of your family. You don't have to worry about your kids around the dog. You don't have to worry about anything. Am I right on that? Yeah, the right dog. That's the buzzword. The right dog enriches your life. And I don't care how old I get to be, as long as I'm lucid up here, I will always have a dog. Yeah, I'll have a protection dog. My daughter and I live together, and I would rather my daughter have a protection dog than a handgun to protect her. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. They're not going to take the dog away from her. No.
I mean, that's such a big piece for people to understand that it puts you in a position of safety. Right. It's not about ego or power. It's about safety. And you're always going to have situations. I mean, I always have this deep rooted feeling that I don't like laws, policies, or people bitching on the internet that we shouldn't, like they say, oh, we should legalize pit bulls. We should legalize this. I mean, I've saved more pit bulls than anybody I know. I'm not a personal fan. Like I wouldn't own one, because I don't like the drives and the overall personality in them. I like the breed. I think they're fine. Mastiffs, same thing. I think they're a lot of work. They can be dangerous. I think anything can be dangerous. A bicycle can hit a kid in a stroller and kill it.
A crotch rocket?
Crotch rocket, yeah. Oh, no, I mean a bicycle. I mean a 10-speed bicycle going down the road can hit a kid and kill him. I think we can't start to illegalize everything because it might be dangerous. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think we're heading in that direction. And guys like you who have been with working dogs for 30 plus years, I'm guessing. Am I right? Because you're 38,
I was
right?
3 years old when I
You're 38.
started dogs. I'm 33.
It's funny. My friend Lewis and I used to say, he said, how long have you guys been friends? I said, since God invented dogs. So your personal protection dogs, I know they're hand selected. You do something that people I've seen that sell personal protection dogs don't do this. You oftentimes will travel to Germany and select dogs.
Every time.
Okay. Oh, every time. I didn't know you do it every time. Okay.
Yeah, every time.
So I want a dog. You're on a plane to Germany and you're there at the beer garden. Then you get away from the beer garden and then you go over and start picking dogs.
Yeah, and then back to the beer garden.
Always back to the beer garden.
No, so what I do is they call me, and I always get it. Any dog I sell is a referral from another person that another client that recommends me. And the nice thing about it is all my clients have turned out to be friends. That we hang out even after the sale. It's been I've been fortunate so far to
not as good as you
meet
and I
some
are
good
friends. So.
That's impossible.
Okay, good. I want to make sure.
You took me to In-N-Out Burger.
Oh yeah, more than once.
That's a big deal. And then let me sleep in your house.
Yeah.
Janet let me sleep in the house.
Janet leaves. It's not my house. This is Janet's house.
So it's referral based, and then I find out what they want, find out a little bit about the family dynamic, and then I go over and I stay a week or two and find several candidates. But first is the temperament test, and if they pass that, then I give them options. Some may not like a certain color or a floppy ear or whatever, but I find the dog that matches their situation. Then I personally deliver the dog, stay a few days, and then I stay in contact with them for the life of the dog.
Yeah, I mean you do it really differently. You don't. I've never seen you run an ad or anything like that, or hustle. I've never seen you hustle people I mean, you push away more people than you take in.
Yeah, I'm my own worst enemy, I guess. I'm not a businessman.
I did that in dog training for years. I just would never want to.
Yeah, I never thought I'd make money from this, it happened. And I told you the first time we talked, it just fell into place.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky I've met some really nice people.
Yeah. Well, you're a good person. I think that goes a long way. So you're here doing some work, and a lot of it has to do with seminars and stuff like that. So I know in your seminars, like I said before, it's different than if I go to an IPO or a Schutzhund or Mondia Ring. I know a shot.
You said a Mike Deal seminar.
Okay, Mike Deal seminar.
I'm much better looking than Mike Deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Bigger brain. No, Mike and I actually used to teach seminars together.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Wow. Okay.
And he's my buddy.
I went to a Mike Deal seminar 15 years ago, and he was doing a helper seminar. And I wasn't interested in being a helper for the sport, but I was impressed.
Yeah.
Mike's the real deal.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
He's the real deal. He's a good guy. Talk about your seminars. You're doing one in Nashville for the Nashville Police Department. Now, public is invited to this?
So yes, April 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Okay.
And we were going to call it Zane-a-Palooza.
I like that.
And originally, do you remember I talked about you hosting a seminar?
Cabral
we were going to call it Cabral-a-Palooza.
Yeah.
And then we didn't follow up on it, so I plagiarized the Cabral-a-Palooza idea.
It's fine.
But anyhow, it's the Locate Dominate seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, April 19th, 20th, 21st. Nice shirt.
Cheers.
And we've got Nick White from Off Leash Canine teaching the e-collar. We've got Cody Talent, in my opinion, the best all-around decoy
Yeah, Cody's
in
amazing.
the country. Love him. Big heart. We got the blonde bomber, Thomas Haas from Germany.
Love Thomas Haas.
Excellent working dog trainer.
Rammstein.
He loves Rammstein. Great elite sport trainer, elite military trainer, and a good friend. So, and then we might have a couple of special guests, Shannon Krieger and Big Fred Fusco from Storm Tactics.
Love Fred.
And maybe the FBI wonder Sonia Nordstrom with her detector magic.
Okay.
So we're trying to get her. It's like trying to get you.
Wow. I'm sure it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Hard to be gone.
Yeah.
So what will people, they sign up, they pay, what happens? Like, do you go, okay, I want to work with Steve Stoops. I want to work with Sonia Nordstrom.
We are all going to be on the training field at the same time. We've got indoor training areas. We're going to do a little classroom to lay out the foundation for the training. And then we are just going to work dog after dog after dog. Bring me your dog. Tell me your problem. What do you want? There's going to be people there that may want to train confrontation, may have a sport issue, muzzle work, name it. So, but it's going to be boutique training, dog per dog, and also a train the trainer, people that have an interest in, it's pretty much all facets of dog training is going to be there, thus the Palooza.
And April is a nice time to be in Nashville. I lived in Nashville for 2 years. It's one of the best times to be there. It's beautiful springtime, really, really nice. Not like the middle of the summer.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good time. We may hit Printer's Alley. You know,
Printer's Alley.
You never know.
I don't think
you and I love the music.
We do. I'll tell you something. That was the one thing about living in Nashville. Nashville, you could go to the worst like dive bar and find somebody who you're like. I mean, Keith Urban played downtown at a honky tonk for years. My friend Trey, who's like one of the top music video directors in the world, she used to stand at the door and tear tickets for Keith Urban when he was a nobody.
Wow.
I mean, and I love Keith Urban.
Well, you and I 2 nights ago played guitars for an hour.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Yep.
How far are we from being Keith Urban?
Not far.
Not far.
Oh, I mean, it depends how many drinks you had.
Anything's possible.
We did the 30-minute version of Knocking on Heaven's Door.
We did, and kept playing.
Kept playing it over and over.
Over and over, lead. And
it took turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Janet bought you that beautiful Fender Telecaster.
Yeah. That's a Stratocaster.
That's a Strat?
That's a Strat.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a Telecaster.
Silly me.
Silly you. Yeah, it's a Stratocaster.
And then a Martin guitar.
And that I bought myself.
Everything first class for Robert Cabral.
Yeah, well, when Stoops comes over, we pull out all the punches.
No, we did that. The hour went fast.
That was fun.
We had fun.
We will put the band back together.
We're going to get the band back together.
A mission from God.
Got to get Mike Reaver to play his mean harmonica.
Does he play harmonica?
No.
Oh. That'd be good if he did.
He can play the comb.
Okay, right. I want to ask you something really serious, and you and I take things really hard. I hope we can kind of talk about it. You had a dog named Creep, and Creep, and he was a Riesen Schnauzer.
Yep.
And tell me about him. Tell me how you got him, and tell me a little bit about his life.
I would love to. So years ago, I met a dog trainer named Armin Winkler, and it was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and he had this big black hairy dog, and he had somebody get in a bite suit. One of my guys actually put on a bite suit, and he sent this big black hairy dog and hit my buddy and took him to the ground, and pretty impressive. And I said, "What kind of dog is that?" And Armin said, "That's a Riesen Schnauzer." I'm like, never heard of it. And so years went by, and Armin and I forged a friendship. And I called him for, I don't know, training advice or something. And I said, "What's up?" And he said, I'm busy with a litter of Schnauzer puppies. And I said, "Really?" I said, "I'm curious, how much do you want for them?" And he named a number, and he said, "But I'll give you one, Steve." And I went, "Well, heck yeah." So I drove to Armin's place and got Creep when he was 11 weeks old, raised him at work. So I worked for the Army and took him every day of his life. He went to work with me, and then he grew into a very good military working dog, because I put him through every situation: helicopters, all kinds of shooting drills, building clearing drills. And then he actually, a federal agency, counterterror unit, came to train with us, and their dog didn't make it through the training. And so my dog Creep, I gave him to the handler of this unit, and he was able to finish the course. And then this organization asked me if they could keep Creep to be on their tactical team. So Creep, actually, the only reason Schnauzer I know of that's been with a top tier tactical team, and he worked for them with the understanding that when they got a replacement dog that I would get him back. So I got Creep back, and he's my best friend. He lived to be 14 years old, and actually bit a burglar that broke into my house while I was deployed. I was overseas, and my wife and kids fortunately weren't home. It was a daytime burglary.
Wow.
And he was a man stopper.
Well, the Schnauzers are used in Germany as police dogs, or were used quite a bit.
Yeah, I didn't know that much about their background until I saw Armin's. And I tell you, I told you about the German Shepherds with the dog I pushed for personal protection, but Creep was the best dog I ever had.
Wow.
And he was sweet to my children. When my daughters would have slumber parties, he would lay on the bed with the girls, and they would paint his nails and put bows on his hair. But a big, tough dog, but he was wonderful with children.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Sad letting him go.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Sorry. 14 years, a long time.
Long time.
It's a real good time.
Time moves fast with a good dog.
I remember when Goofy was 9 weeks old when I first brought him home.
It just goes by like a blink of the eye.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. So you notice anything different with Schnauzers versus German Shepherds? I always see the maturity thing. I think they're a lot slower to mature.
Yeah.
What's your main thing between them?
A Schnauzer, I think, has a higher suspicion index than and now I'm sounding scientific. I don't like the scientific words, but
I hate them.
I got to give Sonia Nordstrom credit for that term because first time I ever heard it. But he wasn't a Walmart door greeter. If he didn't know you when you walked in, he was kind of serious. And so different than he wasn't as open as a German Shepherd or a Malinois.
Yeah. But are they slower? Are they a little bit different to train?
I didn't train him any different than what I trained any other dogs. Wow, okay. But I mean, a Schnauzer expert might be able to say yes.
Yeah.
But to me,
same.
He had a good nose tracking. He was a good detection dog, very good obedience dog. Anything I threw at him, maybe he was born under a divine light because he did everything good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I got drunk with him once, and I think he drove home.
You made home all right though, right?
We made it home somehow. Yeah.
So you're doing also a seminar tomorrow. Or you did a seminar for Marietta Police.
I did. Yeah, I did some training with the Marietta, California Police Department. We had some fun. It was just sua sponte. Aaron, the canine trainer for Marietta, is a friend of mine, so it wasn't a scheduled paying event. We just trained some police dogs.
Had some fun.
And we focused on gear-free, man-primary confrontation drill because I always hammer that with you that the down, motionless, seemingly compliant suspect is the most dangerous person that a policeman's going to run into. Yeah. And the dog has to recognize that down, motionless people are dangerous. Locate, dominate.
Locate, dominate, yeah. I think that's something that's so overlooked. And I talk to a lot of sport trainers who want to get into they always talk to me about it because they, I think, want to get in with you or somebody. And a lot of the people have this idea that the sport, they want to infuse more of the sport into that level. And from what I've learned from you and some of the people is that's a real danger for everybody. Am I right?
Yeah.
Using that kind of control, like putting that control in the outs and the maintain and all that. I want to talk about that for a second.
So, I think you have to hit the accelerator more than the brake pedal. I think you have to have control, right? Control, obedience is a foundation, but what level do you do it? You have to always train for the worst encounter that you could ever have. That's where you may not come back from it, and you have to train your dog for that. Or, in my opinion, you're negligent. So I don't call it obedience so much as I call it a delivery system. Getting my dog out of my police car or out of whatever to get him to the search objective. Okay, if you might want to call it obedience, but however I get my dog in a safe manner to the X to deploy him to do his area search, building search, locate, dominate. That's my delivery system. And I think that with a young dog, I don't want him to bow to everybody. And that's one of the problems that I see with a lot of the training going out. There's people that are stepping into the working dog. When I say working dog, I mean the police dog, military genre, that have no idea what it is to encounter a real man, and they are hitting the brake pedal on these dogs, and they're instilling inhibitions. One exercise that we used to do in police when I was a policeman was a call by on a bite suit. You would put a guy in a bite suit, lay your dog down in front of him, leave your dog, and then call your dog by the guy. Why in the world would you do that? When would you ever do that on the street? But it's that kind of stuff. And that bite suit is a neon suit. It's a neon light saying, bite me. And when you do that kind of stuff, it's like slapping your kid to make him say, I love you. It doesn't compute. Right. So if I'm going to do any type of control work on a suspect, I'm going to be in civilian clothes and have the dog in the muzzle. Because again, that bite suit, yeah, it is control to call them off of a bite suit, but with a young dog, I don't want that kind of, I don't want them more worried about making a mistake than achieving greatness.
I think it's a really good point. I think over control kind of takes it. I mean, I think if you're a sport guy, that's fine.
Have you seen the YouTube video of the Taliban capturing that dog?
This video that was posted on a pro-Taliban website shows footage of what is said to be a military dog that was reportedly captured during a battle between Taliban fighters and US forces. The narration on the video says that the battle took place in the Ali Nagar district of eastern Afghanistan's Lagnam province, and during the conflict, Mujahideen fighters killed 6 American troops, seizing some weapons and the dog. In the video, the dog can be seen to be wearing an equipment vest and is surrounded by armed men who show various weapons and gadgets to the camera. The narration also says that the dog's name is Daggerwal, which means colonel. A NATO spokesperson has confirmed that a military working dog did go missing on an International Security Assistance Force mission in December 2013, but it remains unconfirmed whether it is the same dog in the video.
The Taliban who captured one of our dogs?
He captured a military working dog, not an American dog, but from another country, from a NATO country.
I think I may have seen it.
And it was a very obedient dog. And the just YouTube
we'll find
dog
it.
Captured by Taliban, but there's a dog that bows to everybody. And they were able to just snatch it up off the battlefield and sad.
What happened to the dog?
I don't know. It never recovered.
They never
recovered the dog. No, just a propaganda video from the Taliban. So I'm real hinky about any young dog instilling any inhibition because the real world. I'm going to train for the real world, not a certification. And we can go down the certification row if you ever want to.
I don't want to.
But so man is primary and hit the accelerator.
So I want to ask you one other thing. I talked a little bit about this with Shannon when he was here, and I never got to delve in a little bit deeper, but I think it's a really important piece where the military dogs are trained. There's Lackland, right? We always hear about Lackland, right? And there's a difference between these military dogs that are like base dogs or search dogs or whatever, and then the next level dogs, right?
Tactical dogs. Yeah.
Tactical dogs, right? Yeah. How can we talk about that?
Well, I mean, it'll go across the board for a police tactical SWAT dog.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Let's leave it there. But yeah, so there is a difference, you know.
Okay. But because everybody always talks about the dogs, you know, Lackland, all the dogs come from Lackland. They're breeding the dogs in Lackland. And Lackland isn't the only place where military dogs come from.
I will just leave that one alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
You won't deny or confirm.
Will not confirm or deny.
Okay.
I plead the fifth. Chappelle.
Okay. But there are different levels. Like.
I think you would just say, you know, the high-end tactical dogs and a security dog.
Okay.
Difference.
Security dog.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And those are the different levels of
dogs.
And they're for different jobs.
A patrol dog versus a straight-up tactical dog, you know. a regular patrol dog and a SWAT dog. You know.
Okay, so let's go to that level, because I think that would be kind of what we're talking about. So if there's a canine dog riding in a police car, that dog is a patrol dog, right? Still probably a man, probably stop somebody if I need to take it out.
Just as tough.
Just as tough.
Yeah, but maybe not that. Maybe in a tactical dog, you might want it to be quiet. A patrol dog, I never cared if my dog barked unless I was trying to park my car on a Tuesday night and cop some Z's on government time. You know, I didn't want a noisy dog. Not that I did that.
No, but if you would.
But if I would have, you know, maybe a quiet issue.
Not like that.
Working well with a big group of other people moving through a building. You wouldn't normally need to do that with a patrol dog.
Right.
But I will tell you, our buddy Mike Reaver at Adlerhorst, there's so many of the patrol dogs that he's training can duel as a patrol dog and a tactical dog, because Mike has that knowledge from the tactical realm.
Yeah, well, Mike worked with
worked with me at In-N-Out Burger.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, he was like
number one with no onions.
Hello, I'm Mike. Can I help you? But anyhow,
the hat looked good on him.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Fast Times at Ridgemont
High.
The hamburger joke. Yeah, what's special sauce? But a lot of the dogs you see come from Adlerhorst. They have that tactical side. The patrol dogs are coming out where they could snap in with a SWAT team, and I think that's pretty cool.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, a SWAT dog could always go to a patrol site, but a patrol site going up to that is
not hard, always, right? But I'm seeing it more out of Mike's dogs, and I'm like, wow, that's economy and training.
Yeah, it really is. Think about it. Yeah. Well, we're going to see Mike tomorrow.
We're going to see him tomorrow. Right. Can't wait.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to plug?
I just love you and our friendship, and
love you, man.
You honor me by having me here, and God bless Janet.
Yeah,
she puts up with you and me.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you lived closer?
I told you,
she'd hate us both.
She'd give us bunk beds like stepbrothers.
I want the top. No, she's a saint. She's really good. She still will not come on the show ever. She will never sit in that chair and talk to me on camera.
Yeah. Can I plug my Cabral girlfriend?
Yeah, go ahead, plug your Cabral girlfriend.
So I met my girlfriend through you. I call
not
her
through
my Cabral.
Me.
Because of you.
Because of me. Yeah.
Because of you. Yeah. You didn't. But she saw me on your podcast, and I hit the lottery.
Good.
Yeah.
So there's a joke, right? So the guy says to his wife, he goes, "Hey, what would you do if I hit the lottery?" She goes, "I'd take half and leave." He goes, "Here's $12. I won 24. Pack your bags, right?" So you got to watch that one.
But anyhow, so you
she's
did
nice
that for
to
me.
you. Well, she's nice to you.
She's
and that's
wonderful.
all I care about. You're my brother. I'm on your side. So
she's a good dog person.
That's very important.
Yeah. Vivi Leon.
Vivi Leon. I mean, Janet's a good dog person. I'm very lucky with her. Yep. And once you've known Vivi Leon for 30 years, you'll know.
We don't deserve them.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
She could throw me away anytime. She said she won't. All right, well, listen, tomorrow I'm looking forward to that. I really still encourage you to do some training stuff, because there's nothing like your stuff out there. If you ever want to do it, I'll do it with you. We'll put a course together, help people learn how to really train bite dogs, real dogs, protection dogs, real dogs. That's open invitation to you. So
thank you, brother.
All right, tomorrow, and we'll have fun.
Fun.
All right, man. Be good.